This excerpt from the public television program, The Piano Guy, is brought to you by the Roland Corporation. I'm here with my good friend David Benoit. We're just chatting a little bit about writing and how you write some of the tunes that you've written.
Scott?
Now, you know, K-Song is one of your beautiful songs. I love that tune. It's obviously pretty well known. Why don't you play just a couple measures so we'll know what we're talking about here.
Okay.
I'd love to just chat with you about how you compose things. Yeah, that's really a lovely song.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So give us the backstory on that one.
Well, it does have kind of a funny story, actually. It was right when my wife and I first got married. My wife is from Japan.
Okay.
Her name is Kei, spelled K-E-I. And I was actually writing a song, an R&B song for this group called, now, of course I won't remember their name. It was like a three ladies that sing R&B.
The R&Bs.
They were very, the R&Bs, they were very big, whatever, how many years ago that was, probably 24 years ago. And I was thinking of this song, this Burt Bacharach song. And so I was, that was how I started. But I couldn't get this part. And I've just only had this. And I'm working out, and then Kay walks over and says, why don't you write a song about me?
Oh.
Oh!
Go. Nice, nice.
That's kind of how it
well, that's a good official.
started.
She was the muse on that one.
Yeah, she really was.
Well, it's funny, you know, we talked to a lot of people about writing and you know, just thoughts of how do you sit down and start, because you know, we'll get a lot of viewers, you know, writing in and asking questions about what about composing, and you know, how do I write a song, and what's the connection to the melody, to the chords and all that. I always kind of laugh and say I think there's a million different ways that people approach it. Do you typically write something kind of melodically first, or do you kind of do chord changes first? Well,
a lot of times I start with the chords, especially if it's a rhythm song. You know, if it's something kind of funky, you know, like a song like Watermelon Man, which I did not write, but I'm sure that probably Herbie came up with that kind of the rhythm lick first, then added the melody. But in a piece like Kay's song, well, actually, probably when I wrote the bridge first, I think I started with a. But it didn't start that way. It was that kind of. I was going in that in my. So how can I make that? Then it was like, oh, okay, if I do this. It just kind of evolves. I mean, a lot of it's just trial and error and back and forth, and then you come up with something.
David, how do you approach the, and you do a lot of working, you know, writing. People hire you to either write arrangements or you're, you know, writing for a next album, things like that. Do you really approach it as a, gee, it's something this is kind of a job I've got to sit down and hammer away at every day? Or I've always heard an interesting story about Henry Mancini, you know, who's so prolific and what a, you know, obviously fantastic composer, but he had a routine and he said, look, I can't tell you when it's going to come, but if I'm not sitting in my office at my piano when it does come, I'm in trouble. So he had this routine of coming in, you know, X number of hours a day, and he would spend those hours sitting at a piano, whether he was sitting there dozing off or not doing anything, but you know, eventually it would come, and that was kind of his approach. How do you do that? Do you kind of wait for it to hit you, or do you really feel like you need to be spending time, seat time?
Yeah, I think seat time is really important. I think for most composers there's a discipline to it. Cole Porter once said, they were asking him, how do you get your inspiration? You know, where does it come from? He said, call from a producer. There's nothing like having there's two things, you know, having the seat time and having a deadline. Thank you. You know, having that deadline. And actually, you said he wrote from 9 to 1. That's a great period of time. That's my favorite writing time, in the morning till about lunchtime. Once I have lunch, and then the day's kind of gone. So that's a precious time, and that is the time, you know, to close the door to my office. And we also talked off camera about, well, maybe nothing comes of it, but boy, all it would take, that one melody like Moon River.
That's
I mean,
right.
Think about it, if that's all you ever wrote in your whole career, that'd be more than enough. But
oh my God,
the Days of Wine and Roses and Breakfast at Tiffany's, and on and on and on. But that's it. I mean, it's just discipline time.
It is funny. I just find it intriguing sometimes when you think of it's the marriage of the business end of it and the discipline end of it and the muse end of it. The where does this come from and what strikes you out of the blue, and to try to somehow do that. And it's just interesting to hear. So I appreciate you sharing your thoughts on it. So.
And one more thought.
Sure.
And that is, in fact, many times I like to take walks. Yeah. And so when I'm on a walk, a lot of stuff comes to me. It may not necessarily be a melody, but it could be imagining the song with strings or an orchestration or an idea of how I could put it together with a certain group. So that is important. I think a balance of time just sitting at the piano, but also being away from it and letting your thoughts go free. Yeah. And thinking about imagining how it would sound with a symphony orchestra or vocals or that's an important process too.
Let's hear you play this tune now. I'd love to hear a full performance of Kay's song, and now we'll kind of know the backstory.
All right, okay, here it is.
It's beautiful. Thanks.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
All right.
This excerpt from the public television program, The Piano Guy, has been brought to you by the Roland Corporation, international manufacturer of the finest keyboards, organs, and digital pianos. To find out more, log on to RolandUS.com.